Hello everyone, can you believe it? While the whole world was still talking about the newly launched iPhone 17 with its expensive price and so-called high-tech features, Alex suddenly took out his wallet and spent more than $3,000 just to buy one. But what shocked everyone was not the huge amount of money, but the fact that Alex didn't buy it for himself, but to give it to Tuna. He remembered the days when Tuna didn't have a phone. To see Tuna, he couldn't just text or call her like everyone else. Alex had to drive a long way just to see her, or sometimes sit quietly and write each line of a handwritten letter, something that few people do in this technological age. So how would Tuna react? Bursting with happiness, or shocked to the point of being speechless? And in the end, what made Alex decide to play big like that? Stay tuned until the end of today's video. You don't want to miss a second. And don't forget to subscribe. That morning, the sky was still slightly chilly with the morning dew. In the small kitchen, the scent of coffee wafted in the air, mixed with the aroma of toasted bread. Tuna sat opposite, attentively spreading strawberry jam on a slice of bread, her eyes sparkling in the early morning sunlight. Alex sat quietly, stirring his cup of coffee, but his mind was somewhere else. Last night's news still echoed in his head. iPhone 17, the super technology product that had just been officially launched, causing a stir around the world. The image of long lines of people waiting, the comments of peak revolution, all seemed to urge him to think of Tuna. He remembered the days when she didn't have a phone. To meet, he had to rush a long way by car, or sit and diligently write small handwritten letters, something that few people do anymore in the age of technology. Sometimes, just wanting to hear her voice, Alex had to wait in silence. Each moment like that made him feel more and more tormented. Taking a sip of coffee, Alex suddenly put down the cup, leaned over to look at Tuna. A smile flashed, his eyes mysteriously sparkling. He softly said, "After breakfast, I will take you to a special place." Tuna paused, raised her head, her eyes full of surprise. She was curious, but did not dare to ask. Where was it, and why did Alex look so solemn? She had no idea that, right after this simple breakfast, a surprise worth more than $3,000 was waiting ahead. Not only the latest iPhone 17, but also Alex's way of giving her connection, care, and a sincere affection that had never changed. After breakfast, Alex held Tuna's hand and walked out onto the street. The sky was clear blue. The morning sunlight spread gold on every roof. The streets began to bustle. However, Tuna's heart was filled with curiosity. Where was he going to take her? With that mysterious smile, the car stopped in front of the Mobile World store. The familiar yellow-green sign lit up the whole street corner. Tuna paused for a moment, her eyes wide open. Mobile World, why did you bring me here? Alex did not answer, just squeezed her hand lightly. They walked inside. The bright lights shone on a series of neatly displayed phones. At the central counter, the brand new iPhone 17s, with shiny white boxes, made anyone who saw them stop. Tuna's heart was pounding, but mixed with that was a choked feeling. She suddenly remembered the long time without a phone. When she wanted to say something to Alex, she had to write it down on paper, carefully writing each letter in handwritten letters. One day, just because of a small matter, she wrote it over and over again, not knowing what Alex would think when he read it. She remembered the afternoons, sitting by the window, waiting for the familiar knock on the door when the letter arrived, instead of a quick phone call. During those days, the feelings between them did not decrease, but the longings seemed to multiply. Each letter, each line of words was a piece of the soul's scent, but also a reminder of the invisible distance. Alex looked at Tuna, his eyes full of tenderness. He walked up to the counter, briefly exchanged with the staff, then turned back to put the sealed iPhone 17 box in her hands. The whole space seemed to be silent. Tuna trembled as she touched the box. Tears welled up in the corners of her eyes, not only because the gift was worth more than $3,000, but because she understood that Alex had thought of her every little thing. All those days of writing letters, all those times of waiting for messages that never came. were now erased by a loving gift. The moment she tore the seal, the light from the new iPhone screen reflected. Tuna's eyes sparkled. She burst into tears, hugging Alex. In that moment, the whole world seemed to be reduced to just the two of them. A gift, a memory, and a simple but eternal love. The iPhone 17 box slowly opened under Tuna's trembling hands. The lights in the store reflected on the shiny glass, making her face glow. Around her, a few curious eyes of other customers accidentally stopped. But for Tuna, at this moment, the whole world seemed to only have the phone and Alex. She gently touched the power button. The screen lit up. The Apple logo glowed. Simple but enchanting. Tuna's heart suddenly stopped. She remembered the days when she had to write letters to Alex by hand. Each line was slow, the ink blurred by tears. There were nights when she tossed and turned, just wanting to say I miss you but couldn't do it. She hugged her pillow, wrote a few lines on a piece of paper, and the next morning handed it to Alex. Na opened the messaging app. Her fingers trembled as she typed each word. Alex, thank you for always being by my side. I'm so happy. But when she looked at the screen, she suddenly stopped. The words that appeared made her heart flutter, but sending them was too simple, too ordinary. She slowly deleted each character, then slightly raised her head to look at Alex. He was still standing there, his eyes following her every move, an indescribable happiness rising in his heart. Tuna moved closer, holding the iPhone in her hand but not using it. She leaned close to Alex's ear, whispering in a trembling but sincere voice, I don't want to text, because there are things that should only be said directly. Alex, thank you. I really love you. At that moment, Alex froze, then smiled and hugged Tuna. The gentle sunset spread across the small street, dyeing each roof yellow. Alex and Tuna returned, hand in hand, their hearts filled with happiness. In Tuna's hand was an unboxed iPhone 17, the light reflecting off it. But what made her face shine even brighter was her belief. From now on, she and Alex would no longer worry about the days apart and not being able to contact each other. The old wooden door opened gently. A warm space welcomed them, and right on the small cradle, little Henry, their 3-month-old son, was sleeping soundly. Tuna walked over, gently holding Henry in her arms. She pressed her cheek against that young face, a sweet smile on her lips. Alex stood beside her, watching the mother and son, a sense of peace welling up in her heart that no amount of money could buy. Tuna let out a soft sigh, as if releasing all the worries about the days of writing letters by hand, waiting for a reply. Now, with just a call, a text, Alex will be there for her and her son at any time. He no longer worries about Tuna having to hold her child alone during long nights, and she doesn't have to swallow back her longing. In the small house, laughter rang out, mixed with Henry's innocent cooing when he woke up. The soft yellow light spread throughout the room, turning every ordinary moment into complete happiness. Outside, the city was still noisy, but for Alex, Tuna, and Henry, the world suddenly slowed down. Their home now consisted of more than just a roof, furniture, but also love, connection, and lasting trust. Alex held Tuna's hand, looked at Henry and smiled. In that moment, all three knew true happiness did not lie in an expensive phone, but in the peace when they always had each other, through technology, and most of all, through their hearts.